Badge. Angie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for asking me.
It's great to have you here. And yeah, I love your background, by the way, the Bulletproof Badge. Love it. And Shotgun
I
Justice.
Harlequins, those two. I love them.
Wonderful. Um, to celebrate Angie's new book, we also partnered up with Bella J for a really great giveaway. So I want everybody watching to comment on the live chat page on booktrib.com after the chat, and you can enter to win a Lots of Love charm candle, a notebook, and a makeup palette. They're really beautiful. So thank you again to Bella J for partnering with us on this. So Angie, before we begin our questions and answers, can you bring us up to speed a little bit on what's happening in Bulletproof Badge?
Um, well, it was interesting how I came up with it. I was talking to the editor. Uh, I had mentioned Texas Rangers,
Mm-hmm.
and the hard thing about writing Texas Rangers is that in real life they are above everything in integrity. If you Google them, none of them have been indicted. None of them, they are good guys. So writing something that it had its own challenges because I couldn't make it an informant or bad or anything. Everything like that has to come from outside. So the other interesting thing about Bulletproof is that I needed a heroine. I needed somebody who could actually witness a murder, and therefore my Texas Ranger is actually there undercover and rescues her. So I was getting my hair done for a Harlequin party, and
Nice.
the hairdresser asked me where I get my ideas, and I said, well, everywhere. And
Mm-hmm.
she said, well, you couldn't write a story about what's happening right now. And I said, sure, I could. And then it just hit me as like, this woman, the heroine of my story, could be a hairdresser who is at a party, and the two women that she's working on get murdered. They get murdered in front of her. And that's where it started off
Yeah.
from there. They are totally on the run. The whole book happens in 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
And he is the first Texas Ranger in modern history to be murdered. So he can't go to the law. He can't go to his friends.
Right. Nice.
That's
Now, did you do any research while you were writing Bulletproof Badge? Do you do research for any of your books?
the Texas Rangers are fascinating because Texas is so big that
Yeah.
they actually have a lot more jurisdiction than a normal police force. They're actually the oldest police force, I guess, in North America. They were commissioned before Texas was fought its war with Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
So they're very old, very outstanding, and they have a lot of history. And I was able to go to their museum in Waco,
Oh,
and
nice.
that's where I set a story.
Mm-hmm.
Company F based out of Waco. They're actually in 6 different areas,
Neat.
or 5, no 6. Sorry. So yes, a
Oh.
lot of history there for the Rangers. Trying to
Mm-hmm.
stay true to that and yet be fictional. That was
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure it was. Now, how did you get started writing romance? Can you take us back to when you first started?
uh, started writing stories from the time I could hold a crayon, of course. But romance, I
Awesome.
started in the 6th grade. The 6th grade, um, I started reading Harlequin. My grandmother and my aunt would actually read them first, and big Barbara Cartland fan back then, of course,
Mm-hmm.
with the Mills and things. And they would write "Okay for Angie" in the corner of the flap, and I would get I have some of those books still on my shelf. So I
Mm-hmm.
can't get rid of this. My grandmother. So that's how I got started. I always wanted to write, and I've read other different genres and things, and life is too, I guess, too real. So I wanted happily ever after every time I read. But that's the reason why I stuck with me.
Yeah, that's a great reason to start. So the name Kenderly is really unique. That struck me. What's your process for picking characters' names? Do you have any kind of?
That's actually one of my fans.
Oh, awesome.
She lives here in Texas, and I just need a name. And another fan is in Hardcore Law, which is number 4 in the series. So I use that. I thought names used to be really, really important for my
Mm-hmm.
characters. And sometimes I guess I get the guy's name better or faster. But I also depend on my daughter a lot now. She has friends, and
Oh,
her college friends, and they want to be.
yeah.
So I use them too.
I love the fan
But
idea. That's great.
yeah, she was. I just saw her name, I guess, when it was coming up, and it seemed to go with character.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Fantastic.
is another unusual name. That's actually a Texas Ranger name, first and
Ah,
last. So
awesome.
that's what his.
Awesome. Now, we have several questions from our viewers. Kathy wants to know, hi Angie, do you only write romantic suspense? Perhaps she's looking for your other
Yes,
your other work.
I write romantic suspense, and I am working on a series that features female bodyguards called Bodyguard,
Oh, that's
that I'll be releasing on my own. Because the intrigues are very hero centered.
yeah.
They must rescue the heroine, and
Mhm.
sometimes as a writer, you just gotta let the woman and do just a
Exactly.
little bit better every once in a while. So,
Yeah.
so that's the reason why I started writing this other. It's really a lot more fun, and I can a couple of extras.
Yeah.
I know
Um.
that's really something, but Harlequin Intrigue has a limited number of words I can use.
mhm. Now, for this series, what inspired you to start it? You know, was it something that you saw, that you read, that you saw on TV? Was it just growing up in the area that, that you're currently living in?
Well,
What was the...
I am a Dallas-born baby. Um, we've lived here all my life, and I have also uh, have a family heritage that dates back to 1789 in
That's
Texas.
amazing.
Both sides of my family were here by the Civil War.
Huh.
So and I love to drive in my state. We take road trips all the time,
Mhm.
and just getting into the small towns like that. Um, I really, I want Texas. I want people to know the real Texas,
Yeah.
and that's the reason why I write Texas.
Yeah.
And so it just seemed a natural progression to. I needed a law enforcement agency that I wanted to be grounded in reality. So the
Mhm.
Texas Rangers, um, they actually have their own cold case unit. They have their own
Yeah.
forensic artists. They have um, so many different varieties, from border control to helping the U.S. Marshals. That's one of the um, federal bureaus that they use. In fact, the Rangers are called in here first for kidnapping instead of the
Mhm.
FBI. So
Yeah.
it just seemed like if I wanted to stay in Texas, that they were a good organization.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you mentioned the real Texas. So for someone who doesn't know the real Texas, what's the real Texas and what's like the preconceived notion that people think Texas is all about?
Well, the silly thing is, when I like I said, I've lived here all my life, and we drove forever to
Yeah.
get anywhere whenever I was growing up. And my dad was a huge John Wayne fan. I am too, but all of his movies are filmed in Oregon, in
Yeah.
you know
I
Monument
heard that.
Valley and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
I grew up saying, "When are we going to Texas?" We lived here, but when were we going to Texas? Because North Central Texas looks nothing like Monument Valley.
Yeah.
So, so in the movies and even recently, they had the history of the Alamo, and
Mhm.
the Texas Rising is what it was called. And it was so disappointing that they didn't use the real Texas landscape. They had waterfalls and big drop-off cliffs where there should have been swamps. The real Texas is like if you live on the north side of Dallas and you want to go to Fort Worth, it's going to take you an hour and a half to get there. We're close together. There's an airport in between us,
Yeah.
but just to hit traffic is phenomenal. And I like to include where there's no cell service. Like in West Texas, I have a series set out there. We went on a road trip and went camping in the Davis Mountains, and I was like, this is fantastic because if you get on one of these buttes, then you're trapped. You can't get
Yeah.
anywhere. There's nowhere to go. There's no roads between here and here. Even though there's two roads here, there's nothing in between. So
Mhm.
you're stuck. And for
Wow.
romantic suspense, the kind that I write, which is on the run, um,
Mhm.
it was it makes it more realistic. And then my fans started telling me that every time they read one of my books, they learned something. And then after
Huh.
that, it just became something like I really want to make sure that I get the real Texas in here.
Yeah.
We have a lot of guys who wear jeans, boots, and hats
Yeah.
and have never ridden a horse. So, they might
That's
be
too
called
funny.
cowboys, they might look like cowboys, but they've never, laid an eye on a cow. So it's kind of like the series Dallas, um,
Yeah.
where they were businessmen in suits, wearing hats and
Mhm.
boots, and there's a lot of us down here that wear hats and boots that don't live on a ranch,
Yeah.
don't ride horses to work. So
That's too funny.
you'd be surprised at how many people want to see my horses.
Wow.
Mine
I
actually
love
have
that.
a lot of fur. They're called Labradors.
Huh.
So
No,
I mean,
Callie.
I don't have horses.
Yeah. Callie has a question about authors that inspire you. Who are your top authors that you love to read?
Um, the ones that I read before, I can't read as much now, like Daniels and anybody who wrote for industry. I devoured them before I actually sold them.
Mhm.
I read a lot of my friends' books, um, and I mentor. I don't get to read just for pleasure as much as I,
Yeah. You're busy.
but the, the I devour Suzanne Brockman, and I love Carly Phillips and well, Susan Elizabeth Phillips, sorry, and all of those. Anything out, amazing that I read anything outside of romantic because I don't want it to be influencing what I'm writing. I don't want to
Mhm.
accidentally take from their storyline.
Right.
Anything that comes across, and I big shout out to Kelsey Browning and Avery, um, to Kara Conley, Caro, I forgot her last name. She's gonna kill me. That they don't write romantic as as
Mhm.
suspense. They write sex movies, and I like to read the just contemporary stories. but
Yeah.
I give me a good Scottish historical, and I'm in it for the next 3 hours and 3 hours. Sorry, anything that comes across my desk like that.
Fantastic. So I'm curious, since you're an 11th generation Texan. So did you have a favorite, like a Texas folk tale or a legend when you were growing up? Because there's a lot of tall tales. Is there anything that you can remember as a
Can
kid?
I tell personal family?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I had a great grandfather who was a sheriff, and he was not a nice man at all. He owned the local saloon,
Oh.
and shot a man's nose off for sitting on the sidewalk in front of my great great grandmother.
Wow.
And shot a guy's ear off when he was pouring on the coffee in the barn. He, like I said, was not a nice man.
Sounds like it's straight out of a movie.
Yeah. And he was also shot in the back.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think very many people liked him at all.
The Wild West, it sounds really great.
Yeah. And my grandmother, my grandfather actually sharecropped for Old Man Barrow, is how they tell it. He was the father of Clyde Barrow, and my grandmother actually sat with him, stayed at the house a couple of times, watching Clyde Barrow as his.
Wow.
Yeah.
Family stories are even better than tall tales, right?
Yes. Yep.
I love that. Now, do you have any advice on those looking to break into the romance writers market? Is there anything that you didn't know going in that you would tell someone right away?
Write every day.
Yeah.
I know it sounds like everybody would say that, but when you write every day, you get into your family.
Yeah.
You know? So they, by the time you sell, then definitely be in that rhythm already. And the best advice is that once you sell or decide to publish your book, then your family is used to that rhythm, and you don't have to mark out time. And today, something that wasn't as important when I was first writing, but today you have to also mark out time for social media and decide how much you're going to do.
Yeah.
Get into a rhythm doing that, and it's not so after you sell. You just keep up the same pace. I know.
Yeah. Now, are you a plotter or a pantser? Because I have to ask everybody.
Audible plotter.
Yeah.
I only plot like 3 chapters at once. I know where I'm heading, but my editors and my agent, they know that if I turn in a synopsis, that they're basically going. It's more about characters than plot. Because my plot is going to take turn.
Yep. Right.
The natural progression.
Now, what's your writing space like? I see all that behind you. It looks lovely. I see Harlequin novels and posters. Do you have a space that you always go to kind of find solace, or do you switch around?
I have what I call a diva chair. I bought it last year. It's extra wide and low arms, and it's got its own ottoman, and it's behind me, right behind the laptop.
Lovely.
This whole side over here is an 8-foot table where my screen is that I do the edits and things like that.
Yeah.
I sit in the chair to write, but I like to sit in the desk to my edit. And then my husband made me a 12-foot long shelf on the other side. They hide the books and back everything. It's very fun. There's something everywhere. Every piece of wall has something on it that I've collected.
I love it. I love the colors. I feel like there's a blue theme. Serene.
Blue and yellow. I had a yellow bedroom when I was growing up, and I've since learned the yellow stimulates.
Yeah, definitely.
So I put it back in here. I like it.
Is there anything that you need with you at all times?
From a pair of.
Yeah. Is there anything that you always need around you when you're writing?
I always have water.
Yep.
I always have my laptop.
Mm-hmm.
But I always have a notebook with me, and I try to. I'll jot down things and keep conversation at a red light. I'll scribble on something over here like this while I'm driving.
Yeah, brainstorming.
Don't tell me.
Absolutely. Now, Brian has an interesting question. He says, in your book, the character takes a bullet for someone. Who would you take a bullet for?
Who would I take a bullet for? My daughter, of course. My husband. I have to say that was right. But I figured it always. I would take one for any child. That if I saw a threatening situation, I would protect any child. I don't seem to panic. I like to think of myself as that I would be the one giving a direction, call 911, puts a gun down, trying to resolve the situation, hopefully. But I know some just aren't resolvable, so I would.
Right.
I would try to make sure that everybody is safe. I've been a softball coach in charge of different tournaments and stuff like that. So being around a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
So that
you're always
are going well.
Yeah. Now I know.
I hate to say that it comes natural.
Yeah, but you're used to kind of watching the. Yeah.
You never know how you're going to
exactly.
certain things. I would be through it.
Yeah. Now, do you have any upcoming conferences or events that you're going to be doing? Anything planned?
I just had a book signing in Wichita, and I will be in San Diego this summer for national. I'm actually up for an art course for a best entry, and I might be flying to Las Vegas in April, but that would it would be unofficial. I would be there for the weekend, but not attending the conference. I would just be around the lobby. I might be doing another book signing, and I have be at RomCon next fall, and I will also be in Florida in the fall. This year I'm trying to travel a little bit more.
You're a busy bee. So along with conferences and, promoting the books, and you're always busy writing, what are your favorite things to do when you're not writing, if you have time? You sound like you're very busy.
I play a lot with my dog, and if I'm home 6 to 8 weeks, I foster a puppy for DFW Lab Rescue. I love being able to help a family get the dog get back. We just placed 4 puppies right before Christmas. And knowing that the kids in the family, that was the dog that they grew up with, it makes husband and I very, very happy to do that. And we have lost several dogs within a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband actually told me, like, I think he would wait and adopted a dog, in a little while. 2 weeks later, he was like, how fast can you get a dog? Because you are just so unhappy. Dogs just make us laugh. We take them to dog parks. We photograph them, and we take them on road trips with us. So,
love it.
So we have a really great dog sitter now and house sitter. So their routine isn't changing very much, but they love to travel. They love to get we bought a larger truck just so they can have a back seat.
Now, that's amazing.
Dogs are important to us.
You need to put one of the dogs in one of your books. Have you done that before? Because I know a lot of people like to put dogs on the cover.
I did. We actually we didn't consider her handicapped.
Yeah.
Her name was Dallas.
Oh, cute.
And she's in the Marines' last defense. She's actually blind in one eye and had seizures. We lost her when she was 10. So when she died, I was writing that book, and I actually made it about a dog sitter. The heroine in the book worked. She had her own pet grooming, and she witnessed some stuff. And then she actually, I made it to where she went from home to home, and so she was off the grid using everybody else's addresses to hide from.
Love it.
There were several books ago, so don't judge me.
No problem. Yeah, it's hard to keep a track of.
But yeah, Dallas was an important part of that book together, and I actually touched a little bit on the fact that the hero had a little bit of PTSD, and helping the puppy helped him. So he realized that we're going wrong.
Yeah.
Whenever he's relaxing by petting him. I mean,
right.
I'm petting her.
Yeah, that's perfect. I love that you incorporated
it. I love to.
Now, I know you said to write every day is a really important thing, but I'm sure there's days when you wake up and you're like, I do not want to write today. Do you ever try like writing exercises or like stream of consciousness? Like, how do you kind of get the creative juices flowing? Do you ever have to do stuff like that?
Switching from the laptop to a pen and paper is really good. There's something about actually holding a pen in your hand that makes it a little bit.
Yeah, true.
Well, it changes the way that you start thinking. To get my going, I normally call a girlfriend. I call Jan Schlieffen, Jan, or Robin, or Lena Diaz. They're all great writers.
Nice to have a little network. Always nice.
So, just talking makes it more exciting.
Absolutely.
To write what you
And we're running out of time. It's gone by so fast, but I wanted to just, hear what you're working on next so that we all, we're looking forward to seeing what's next. So can you tell us what's in the pipeline for you? Right.
Well, there's 3 more books coming out this year after there's Shotgun, Justice, and Gunslinger.
Yeah, it's really great.
Kind of cute title for it's in the town where they really think that Billy has actually died instead of in New Mexico, and then hardcore law after that. But what I'm getting to start on, of course, finish the series, it's so exciting to start something new. My next projects are, and I don't know if I get to keep the series title, but I'm calling it the Sons of Liberty Hill, which is going to touch a little bit about how important football is in Texas.
Yeah.
It's not about the sport, it's about the sheriff and all the and at homecoming, the quarterback, and so important. His brother drops off a young woman is wanted for murder and makes a promise that the sheriff is going to keep her safe. And then the sheriff finds out that she's safe by the federal government murder.
Awesome.
So what does he have to do during
Yeah. Well, there's a lot to look forward to, and everyone's hearing it here first. Yeah. Excellent.
Okay.
Now, before we say goodbye, I wanted to just mention again the giveaway with Bella J. So we're giving away a copy of Bulletproof Badge, and then we have some awesome candles with charms inside, and some really beautiful notebooks and makeup palettes. They're all covered in hearts for our little Harlequin theme, and you can win. Yeah, they're awesome. So everybody stop by Angie's her live chat page on BookTrib and comment to win. And thank you again, Angie, for joining us. It's been a pleasure. Yeah, I know. The technology gods are smiling down upon us. Wonderful. Bye, guys. Take care. Thanks. Bye.